those who don't know Mobalytics, tell us what is this about?
Well, Mobalytics is the first personal performance analytics platform for gamers. It basically analyzes your play, breaks it down into critical skills, and gives you advice on how to improve on your weaknesses and how to highlight your strengths and become a better player.
Any types of players can use it, or it's like for particular casual players or for particular professional sportsmen?
Well, technically, any type of player can use it. Anyone who plays competitive. But for example, the first game we're doing, League of Legends, if you play ranked, then you can use it. And there's about 11 million ranked players worldwide. So all of those people can use it. People who don't play ranked can also use it, but the quality of the data is a little less just because of what the game provides for non-ranked. So casual, competitive, professional, all of these people can use it. Our main audience is the gamer who's trying to improve, basically.
How many users you have by now?
I think we've invited around 10,000 into the product, and we still have about 40,000 on our wait list. So right now, we're taking it slow and just inviting a little bit every week, and we're in closed beta right now.
What the price for it, or it's absolutely free?
Right now, it's
Yeah.
absolutely free. Yeah.
Okay. Talking about the beginning, you've got a background of working in medical industry.
That is correct, yes.
You've been working with human performance.
That's right, yes.
Why did you decide to apply your knowledge in human performance to esport?
Because I've always been a gamer, and I was a professional gamer before I was a human physiologist, before I finished my PhD. So to me, gaming is very close to my heart. I was always very competitive, and I always wanted to know what made players better, and what makes different players better than others, more unique, what type of play styles there are, how we can study that, how we can improve performance. And the more and more I studied people in other disciplines like fighter pilots, athletes, the more and more I realized that the similarities are very strong. And so I decided to give it a shot, and I failed multiple times trying to apply the same stuff to esports and competitive gamers, but eventually I think we're here now, and the timing is good.
Before you start to work on that startup idea, have you checked gamers' demand in such tools?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a gamer, and my friends are all gamers, right? So these are for example, I used to make spreadsheets when I played World of Warcraft to help my group analyze different things. I used to do scouting reports. And so I was basically making the tools by hand, and I always wanted to create tools like this. Well, now I have the opportunity to do that, and there's a big demand for it. My co-founder, Bogdan, had done a really thorough search of the market and determined that there was a need and there was an opportunity for these tools. For me, it was more of I'm just going to keep working on stuff that I think is awesome and feel like people would use it. And so the combination of the two kind of got us to where we are today.
So basically you was not care about anything, you just was following your passion.
Yeah, you could say that.
Me personally, I think that's about 50% of success, just to follow your dreams and follow what you really like. And
yeah, I mean, the timing has to be right, and there's a lot of other factors, but if you do follow that passion, at least when you start doing something you have to work really hard on, it's not going to be a grind. You're not going to wake up and wonder why you do it. You're going to know why you do it because you love it. You love every day of what you're doing, right? So definitely it helps if you're passionate about what you spend 14 hours a day working on.
I see it. What was in first version of Mobalytics, or what was in MVP of Mobalytics?
The first version of Mobalytics. It's very similar to what you see now, but basically it was even more simple. Basically, we figured out what the 8 critical skills were. We built very basic metrics of those 8 critical skills, and created the algorithms that powered the system. And that was the first version. You just had a GPI, a gamer performance index, where we diagnosed your strengths, your weaknesses, and told you how good you were. That was the very first version, a very simple interface, clean, nice. And that was it. You just could see your aggregate performance over the last 20 games.
It was clean and nice.
So I guess it depends on what you're talking about. If it's the first version that we showed to people and to TechCrunch and to alpha users, yes, it was. I mean, it's not as clean and nice as it was now, but design is and simplicity is a big deal in our company. So we do emphasize those things. But like the first internal version was just a bunch of numbers and code. If
No,
that's
yeah,
what you're
that's
wondering.
why I asked because
Yeah.
usually the first version is like total mess.
Yeah, I mean, internally it was code, but like the first version we actually let people try, as in alpha, was that basically just an aggregate.
Yeah, and how big was your team at that time? Like how many guys started
It
working?
was me, my co-founder Bogdan, our other co-founder Koila, and basically we had an analyst working part-time, and he was a League of Legends coach, and we had, yeah, that's it. That and one developer working part-time. So basically a bunch, I think one or two full-time employees, you could say, and a bunch of part-timers, including myself, because I had to make money somehow to live. So I was doing it in my free time. Yeah.
If I understand right, you don't have like technical background, but you have technical co-founder.
Yeah, my co-founders are technical. That is correct, yes. As in like coding, I don't do coding, no.
How you meet your CTO, your co-founder?
My co-founder, I met Bogdan at TwitchCon of 2015. We were both attending his panel about esports, and we both wanted to do something very similar. And we both had the same question for the panelist at the end of the day. And it was really funny when he went to go ask his question. I basically said, I have the same question, and he and I ran into each other and were like, hey, that's what I wanted to ask. That's what I wanted to ask. And it kind of just, we started talking. That was it.
Okay, and how long time did you guys need to turn your idea into first public version?
I think we spent the first 3 months, so that we met in November, and then we spent the first 3 months like actually determining what the first version of the product would look like, what were the necessary features, all that kind of stuff, right? So, and then the next thing was basically putting that into action, and that took, I'd say, maybe 2 to 3 months to get the first like all code version, and then maybe a bit more to get the final version, another 2 months. So I think total 7. So by the time we got to TechCrunch, we had our first version, which was in September. So really, we started working on it in January. So that makes sense. About 7 months total. Yeah.
You said that you got about 10,000 users who wanted to give it a try in the beginning. How you guys attract them? Like what
So we
channels?
had a part-time content writer, and we would publish articles on different esports sites. And basically, we would post on Reddit that we're working on this tool. If you're interested, sign up. And yeah, that's basically what happened. We used Reddit, and we wrote articles, quality articles, and had people talk to us about that, and they signed up.
So you just you basically was creating like useful content which players was
That's
looking for.
yes, exactly.
In September of 2016, you participated in TechCrunch Disrupt. Can you tell me about the participation? Yeah, that's the most interesting part actually.
Yeah, I think at the time Bogdan submitted the application for TechCrunch about two hours before the deadline, and
Whoa.
yeah, we got selected, and we kind of just went over there and presented our work. I was at the time I was for a research expedition for our group. I was on Mount Kilimanjaro, and I came down and I see a bunch of messages on my phone, and basically Bogdan is telling me that, hey, I need you to be in San Francisco in 2 weeks. We got into TechCrunch, and I didn't even really know what TechCrunch was. And I was like, what's going on? I just got down. I'm tired. He's like, no, and we have to give a demo presentation on Friday. And he's all excited. I'm like, oh, okay, fine, I can do this. And so, sometimes there just comes a point in life you have an opportunity, you just have to give it your best shot. And so that's what we did. We didn't expect to win. We didn't expect anything. We didn't really even, expect anyone to really, care too much about something about video games. There's all these products for the medical field and, all sorts of the different industries. And so it was really amazing to see the amount of passion and care and, enthusiasm that we were able to get from other people when we told our story. So very grateful for that and the opportunity.
Yeah, I watched a video from the battlefield, and I was surprised that judges was getting to your product and they was interesting in it. It was interesting to watch, and yeah, it was surprise for me because yeah, as I said before, in my personal opinion, your product is something not typical TechCrunch, and you won it. Congratulations! I a little bit late, like
Oh,
almost 1
thank
year
you.
late. TechCrunch team help you in preparation for Battlefield, like how to pitch a product.
Yeah, so they had staff help us go over the pitch a couple of times, make sure it was ready, help us improve our pitch. Sam from the TechCrunch team was amazing. So definitely something that they made an effort to do. So
What was the most valuable advice you got from them?
just how to make your pitch concise and, the cadence and, you have to finish, it's timed. It's very, very rigorously timed, right? So you've got to make sure that you're actually doing the pitch properly. You're saying everything you want to say in the 5 minutes that you have, right? That's the most important thing.
From your point of view, what made you stand out from all others services and startups? What brought you a first place?
Well, I don't have the exact answer to that question. I think that we really practiced a lot on our pitch, and we also really, really cared about what we were doing. Like it was probably the most important thing to us since childhood, maybe, is this kind of thing, a legitimacy for our hobby, for our passion, as a chance to show that. And so, and we seized that opportunity without hesitation. And I think, we just were fortunate to be in a good place and a good time. I also was fortunate enough to have a lot of experience, a lot of experience to present in my scientific career. I think I'd done over 60 presentations.
Oh, it's a big number.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I had a lot of experience presenting, which was very useful at that point in time.
So basically, your life was preparing you to that moment.
Yeah, kind of in a strange way, you could say that. Absolutely. All the
Yeah,
time
no,
playing games.
I mean, you have experience in presentations, and at that time, your previous experience from presentation, and also your passion to video games, and your passion to create something yours, use your knowledge in human performance for cybersport. Just boom in one point of
No, you're right, dude. No, yeah, it's I feel like when you choose to do something and you really care, if you look at everything as a learning experience and you're not afraid to take a chance and fail and learn from it, because, I did a lot of work with esports teams and trying to figure out how to do performance. I spent a lot of my free time on these kind of things, and I wasn't able to get jobs or grant money to study this type of stuff. And, there was a lot of failure. So all of that kind of prepared me for that point in time, I guess you could say. I think that I think if you look at stuff as if you're trying to do something and you don't look at it as a waste of time, but you see what you can learn from that one thing and then how you can do something better, how you can improve. And I think gaming is a huge part of that mentality, because in a video game, when you play, the only person you have clear feedback whether you're doing well or not, and how much players are better than you. And I mean, this, you play games, and
oh
so
yeah.
you can watch the best players and they're better than you. And you know that if you want to get to that level, you have to be very honest with yourself and you have to continue to learn and grow. Otherwise, you won't reach that level. So I think it was a valuable lesson.
Yeah, and I know those feelings. Like when you're watching
Because,
you.
man, there are players that are really good. And you learn that really quickly when you play online games.
1 month after TechCrunch, in November of 2016, you raised $2.6 million from several investors.
Yeah.
Can you give me some details, like who came with proposition, you to investors or investors came to you?
Our case was very unique, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
TechCrunch is something that you practically become the hottest company in Silicon Valley for a short period of time, and you go from no one wanting to talk to you to everyone wanting to talk to you. And so for us, it was a matter of picking the people with the best fit and who were very sincere about our product and our vision, and who really understood what we were trying to accomplish and could help us get to where we wanted to go. So.
If not a secret, how much money you expected to get before round?
Before TechCrunch?
Yes, before TechCrunch and before
Yeah,
your.
1.5 was what we were looking to raise.
Oh, so it was
Yeah.
more than 1 million more than you expected.
Yeah, because I mean, the saying, strike the iron while it's hot, and we thought of ways we could move faster, do more things at once, and you know, actually before TechCrunch, we were also thinking not to even raise any money and just do a Kickstarter. But yeah, you have to have adaptive thinking in life. Sometimes conditions change.
When you're on a meeting with investors and trying to fundraise, what were investors asking about, like your company, your product? What's the like basic questions?
I think for people who've done a PhD, it's not very dissimilar from defending a thesis, right? Or an idea that you have. You have to explain your logic. You have to clearly state what your hypothesis is, and you have to clearly state how you're going to go about achieving it, what you expect your results are going to be, and how you're going to utilize your resources. Except the topic is about money. Money comes into the equation, and you do have to do money sometimes when you're doing a PhD, when you talk about how you do research, how you're going to utilize funds for a grant, different things like that. So, I mean, the most important thing is to have clear, defined goals, be concise, convey your ideas to the investor, and also to help them understand why you are ideal for executing this goal and why you're unique, right? What are your advantages, and how you want to go about doing it.
I read the article made by the founder of people.ie, and he was saying that nowadays investors asking is like, hey guys, how are you gonna make money with your product? But if you look on your company, you still don't have any pricing.
But we do have a business model. We do have a business model. Right now we are in growth mode where we're getting as many users as possible. We have a very clear monetization model. So that's a very important question. You must be prepared to answer it because investors absolutely want a return on their investment. They want to see someone carry out a passionate, well-executed idea, but of course, the resources are integral to that equation. So you should expect to answer such a question.
Is it classified information about your plans for monetization? Or
No,
you
it
can
was
share?
talked about in TechCrunch. It's a freemium model with,
Uh-huh.
a subscription for additional premium content for the user. Yeah, so it's not secret at all. It hasn't changed much since TechCrunch. So
Right now, you planning to attract more users and also maybe to grow your team, right?
yeah, that's right.
How big is your team nowadays?
Our team nowadays, we are 23 people distributed across the world.
I know that some of them from Ukraine and Russia.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, why you choose?
Two of our co-founders are from those places.
So you found those guys with your network?
With the network, but also one of our investors has a Ukraine co-office. So
What is the good and bad parts about having your team spread around the world?
the good part is, I mean, everything has advantages and disadvantages. One of the advantages to having your team spread is that you actually are able to cover a lot more ground over time, right? So like I can send in work at night and it can start the next day. I can wake up to the work finished. But also it's difficult getting everyone in the same room at the same time to talk about stuff, right? That's a challenge. There's language barrier challenges sometimes too. English isn't everyone's first language, right? So it's a challenge that you can turn into an advantage if you execute correctly, you know. There are differences in cost of living, for example, that help make it easier to pay salaries in different parts of the world. You know, just different things like that that really can be seen as an advantage. But there's disadvantages. It's hard to coordinate a lot of different things. It's hard to have people all on at the same time to play a video game or even do work, you know. So it's got advantages and it's got disadvantages for sure.
Do you have any plans for a new fundraising round?
We do. Of course, we're going to raise money again, hopefully by the end of the year. So
Would you quit your job from Maya Clinic?
I already have.
Ah, you already have? Okay.
Yeah, long
Since,
time. As soon as we won TechCrunch.
okay, because I took info
Yeah.
from LinkedIn, and on LinkedIn it's still saying that you still working in Maya
Well,
Clinic.
so my mentor is a amazing human being, and he's like a second father to me. So I'm still affiliated with the group that I worked with, and you know, I talk to them about projects. I ask questions, you know, that are relevant. It keeps me in the understanding of human performance, and there's a lot of overlap in the two. But I don't do any active work as of the time. No. Yeah, but I have a very good relationship with that group.
Right now you're in close beta. What your plan? Like when you guys will go?
We're hoping to go to open beta by end of July.
We have a little bit time left. I guess I have last question for you. Can you give a piece of advice for newcomers to the startup world, for fresh blood entrepreneurs?
Can I give advice? Yeah, try things. Try a lot of things. And don't really, I mean, for everyone's going to be different. No one can tell you what to do. But I think there's common characteristics is that no one can tell you what to do. So if you're doing something you're really passionate about and you believe in something, well, you're going to figure out really soon whether what you think works or not. And you know, it might be a great place to start, but you might have to make a few tweaks. You might have to think of it from a different angle because the original concept rarely ever survives. For example, the original concept for me for doing analytics for gamers was, you know, biometrics and hooking them up, and current version of Mobalytics is very different than that. Don't be attached to things too much, but be persistent and don't be afraid to fail. And try and surround yourself with people and work with people that have similar qualities. Because I tried doing other things, and working with people who don't share the same resolve and who don't share the same attitude can be very, very, very difficult. Sure, everyone is different and has different skill sets, but having the right attitude is extremely important. And then last, have fun. If it's not fun, why are you doing it? You're probably smart enough to get a job in a normal place, right? So
Thank you a lot for accepting my request.
yeah, no problem.
It was a pleasure to speak with you.
I would
Yeah,
like to mention that I finished this. I was playing Overwatch during this interview.
yeah,
Just
I heard it.
next time you did. How did you hear it?
Well, you was hitting your buttons, and it
Oh,
was
okay.
loud.
Is it? Then this mic is bad, dude. That's crazy.